Hello and welcome to the first stream. I've got my guest here online. I'm going to bring him on in a second. Larry is an expat who lives now full time down in Puerto Morelos, and I visited him during my recent trip down there. And without further ado, I'm just going to invite Larry in and let him talk. So let's go for it. Hey, Larry, how's it going?
Great, Martin. How are you doing?
I am doing just fine. It's nice to see you again.
You too.
Yeah. So let's start off. Tell me a bit about yourself.
Been in business most of my life. Spent the last basically 20 years in San Antonio, Texas. My family is from Iowa. My kids are still there.
Right.
It was time to move. And I had originally planned on moving to Dublin, Ireland.
Really?
And, yeah. My family migrated from there a couple hundred years ago.
Oh, wow.
And I wanted to go back and check it out. And that was where I was going to move.
And then you went for a week. It didn't stop raining, and you changed your plan.
I never went.
Oh, right.
I found a project that I was interested in here.
Right.
So I came down here for the month of October.
Okay.
The project didn't work out, but I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And realized that this was where I belonged.
So since October of last year, then?
Yes, October last year.
Oh, okay. Great.
So I went back in November and December, sold everything I had, gave away what I couldn't sell, and packed up and started down here on the 3rd of January.
Wow. And a brand new start. So any regrets so far?
Absolutely none. No, it's been fantastic.
And so what made you fall in love with it, with Puerto Morelos specifically?
I was enjoying everything about it. And some friends that I had made down here commented after I'd been here maybe a week or 10 days. And they said, "You've changed." And I went, "What do you mean I've changed?" And they said, "Yeah, you have a smile on your face all the time. You're happier. You look like all the stress is gone. You look like you belong here." And I thought about it for several days and realized that what they were saying was absolutely true.
Yeah. And do you think, I noticed the Puerto Morelos has a very special vibe. I found it's extremely laid back.
Very.
And I noticed it most when I went a couple of times into Playa del Carmen to visit friends. And I felt like I'd just been dropped into the middle of Manhattan.
Yeah. It's a little busier, yes.
Yeah. So tell me, obviously it was worth it moving to Mexico, but I can't imagine that it was not without its difficulties. What do you think your biggest challenge has been so far? Easy question.
Funny enough, my biggest challenge is motivating myself to do something.
Well, I'm assuming you're pretty well fully retired, so I guess the motivation is just to keep joy in your life.
Well, before I moved down here, if you'd have said retirement to me, I would have went, I don't ever see myself retiring.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I can do it. Now, I get up in the morning and the question is, what do I do today?
And so what did you do today?
What a question. Let's see. I have to go buy fresh juice that was just made this morning. I have to maybe go get a taco on the way and come back. And then I'll have to decide what I'm going to do this afternoon.
Yeah. Well, and what kind of juice did you get? Because I know for me, that was one of the things that I missed the most.
Well, I like orange juice in the morning. So.
Yeah.
And it's all fresh, squeezed orange juice, no sugar added. They just did it in the morning.
Yeah, and the places are unbelievable.
Yeah, and my other favorite is coconut water.
The coconut water is good.
It's very good. Yeah.
I tried the mango as well, and it was out of this world, but it's very sweet.
If you can get it unsweetened too. So
okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So are you now a permanent resident down there?
No, I'm not. I'm still on a visitor visa.
And are you planning on changing your status, or do you know how?
Well, if I can get into a program to do it, I will.
Okay.
Mexico requires a certain income or savings to
Yeah.
get to residency, and I don't meet that. So but there's
Okay.
another program that I think I can get into to become a resident.
Right. Well, good luck with that. I mean, that's one of the challenges that I'm going to be facing myself. So
Right.
it's nice to know that I know people who should hopefully be able to help me navigate it a bit when we get so far. So do you visit the U.S. much at all?
Well, since I just came here in January, I haven't had the opportunity yet.
Yeah.
But my plans are, I usually spend around July 4th with my kids, and then I go back at Christmas.
Right.
So those would be the 2 times of the year that I would go back.
Well, that makes sense too. Although I can't, well, I guess the weather in Texas can't be that much different in July and August.
Well,
Outside of humidity.
They asked me about the difference and will I be comfortable here?
Yeah.
But in San Antonio, we'd have 100-degree weather for 30, 40 days in a row, and nobody went outside.
Yeah.
And here we've got the nice breeze. It rarely goes over 90, and it's just nice.
I think if you can take the humidity, it's perfect there.
Well, same humidity as Texas.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting to know. So what do you enjoy the most?
Like I said, when I sit there and I think about what I want to do today, usually it includes a beach. The restaurants, as you know, are fantastic down here. And if you're on the Colonia side, not the beach side of Puerto Morelos, you can go out and you can have tacos and a drink for 60 pesos.
Yeah.
So, $5, $6.
Yeah, I know, which is crazy.
And to buy the food, to come home and fix it and eat it, you've already blown the $5 or $6 away. And
yeah. No, I know.
It's probably not as good.
Well, true enough. And the other thing is, it's like half price of, it's really good food at half price of fast food.
Yeah. And the quality of the food is so much better here. You don't eat as much, you get the better nourishment, and it's more filling.
Yeah. Yeah. And the fruit is just outstanding.
Oh, the fruit's fantastic. Yes.
I mean, that's the one thing I think I miss the most, is not having the papaya in the morning and those incredible bananas and pineapples
and everything. Yes.
It just doesn't stop at all.
Right.
Did you visit anywhere else in Mexico before you came to Puerto Morelos?
No, I didn't. I had been years and years ago to Baja, and I've been to Acapulco, but I had never been to this side.
Okay. And so you talked a little bit earlier about a project that brought you here that then didn't work out. What was that?
Well, in my life, I've done a lot of video production. The first 25 years of my life, I was in film and video.
Okay.
And I was looking to get back in, and I met a girl down here who has a friend that's a chef. And he was born blind. He has about 10 to 15% vision in one eye. And he's a cordon bleu trained chef.
Wow.
And he wants to do some programs on how to teach blind and sight impaired people how to cook. And that would be to teach the industry that works with them to teach the people. The project may be still alive, but I found that the relationship didn't work.
Yeah, fair enough. And that's really a key.
So I just bowed out.
And so have you started up your own YouTube channel then, like myself?
I haven't yet. I'm working on
it. I think the thing with that is you just have to plunge in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And and try new things. And it's like myself with my channel at the moment. I'm in the spaghetti on the wall phase.
Right. I have a YouTube channel. I developed a workshop on relationships and communication skills, and I have a workshop on YouTube called Empowering Your Relationships. So I've done the YouTube before. I just haven't taken the step to do one down here.
Okay, no, interesting. I'll make sure to include a link to it down in the
Cool. Yes.
so people can check it out if they want.
Right. Yeah, it's basically a 4-hour class cut into 5-minute segments.
Oh wow.
5 to 10 minute segments. So a little bit of different things that you can look at as you go along.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to check it out myself.
Okay.
And see if your video technique's any better than mine.
Well, it's studio, so it's a set and it's lit, and it's done right.
Yeah, it's incredible the amount of difference it can make. It's like with mine, I've been trying different things, and I think finally my face doesn't look bright red anymore because I just went and I put on some blue filters on my little floodlight, and it made all the difference.
Right.
But it's crazy, and you never know, and you get different monitors, and oh my god. Anyway.
Wow. Well, I have LED lights that you can play with the color balance.
Yeah, see, I'm still at the phase of the cheapest thing I can find on Amazon. So it's a good question.
You have to start somewhere.
Yeah, well, of course. Can you get Amazon down there? Do they deliver your
you know what? I haven't gotten into the core of Amazon yet. Other people are getting it, several times a week.
Right.
But I can't seem to get my address plugged in right. So that they acknowledge me.
Yeah, well, the Mexican addresses are really challenging.
Oh, it is, yeah.
I've never, and then no one bothers to put up numbers or anything from what I've seen.
Well, yeah.
So, but anyway, which probably explains why you've had so much of an issue.
Right.
So while we're on the site, do you speak Spanish at all?
Like a lot of Americans, I took Spanish in high school and college.
Okay.
But what I realized when I came to Mexico, that all I could do is conjugate verbs, and I had very little conversational Spanish.
Right.
But I have a friend here who's been teaching me for the last 2 months.
And how's that going?
I'm in class for 2 hours, 2 days a week.
Wow.
So I'm working on it.
And has it improved enough that you're actually speaking at all, or?
My speaking hasn't gotten there yet, but I am understanding a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes a big difference. I mean, the other thing I'm starting to learn a little bit myself, and I've got a bit of a historical bent. So the first thing I did is, you check out a little bit of the history. And what's interesting is the Spanish that the Mexicans speak is an archaic form.
Yes.
So they use a lot of words and phrases and things that fell out of sort of Spanish.
Yeah, well, and there's a large Mayan influence on the peninsula here too.
Yes. No, definitely. It's something that really sort of enriches the whole experience there.
Right.
It's a different. I think it's a different vibe. I mean, I myself, I think I've been to Mexico 3 times so far, and I've only been down in that area.
Yeah.
I can't
one of the big things about learning Spanish is, especially here, is that when you go out to a restaurant or you meet somebody and you use your Spanish on them, they come right back in English.
Yeah.
Because they want to show off their English.
Yeah.
So, so you can have you can be speaking Spanish and they can be speaking English right back to you. And that's how the conversation goes. So,
which is totally fine. Although I know I was living up in the Colonia end of town when I came to visit.
Right.
And I noticed there were still quite a few people who didn't speak any English at all.
There's a lot of people that I know that don't speak any Spanish.
Yeah. So the thing that I found that was really useful was I ended up getting a SIM card and had access to the internet on my phone, and I was using Google Translate, and I was just astonished how helpful that was.
Yeah. And it's not uncommon for someone to pick up their phone and type it in and,
the same thing on the other side in English. And it's an incredible, it's just so much better than
the tools today are great.
Exactly. Between that and Google Maps.
Right.
Which was the other thing, because there were so many times I went out looking for things and it's like, where is that?
Yes.
And then you find out, you drove by it 4 times.
Well, I know where all the good restaurants are, but I don't know the names.
Yeah.
So when
Well,
somebody
yeah.
wants to go somewhere, in order to tell them where it is, I have to drop them a pin so that they can find it.
You gotta love it, right? I think it's either you love it or you leave.
Yeah.
But so, what do you think has been the biggest downside, if any?
Well, I'm kind of realizing the downside right now, and that's that all the friends that I've made that are just down here for the winter are leaving.
Yeah.
So my community is shrinking.
Yeah. And well, I guess it's going to be your first sort of into the summer season here. So
Right.
have things really sort of tapered off, or
Well, no,
or
it's
is it
Easter.
still,
It's
it's
Easter, so this
Easter,
weekend's going to be huge.
right? Because Easter is a really big celebration in Mexico,
Yes.
isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
And it usually lasts 10 days.
Wow.
So it's not just
And
over the weekend.
and do you know, are there any street celebrations, parades,
Oh, yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
thing?
There's all kinds of things going on. Yes.
Yeah.
And the town square will have activities most every day for the next week.
Oh, sorry. So can you say that again? You froze up.
Oh, I'm sorry. The town
No.
square will have activities and bands and all dancing and all kinds of things for the next week.
Wow. Well, that's fun.
Yeah, it is.
And are you going to be going down? I mean, it'll be a chance to make new friends.
I go down pretty much every night, and
Right.
if nothing else, for a walk, and then I go walk on the beach, and then I'm ready to come home and go to bed.
Yeah, no, it's really a perfect life.
Yeah.
I mean, I found the thing that astonished me the most is just how nice the weather is pretty well all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like that. There's like I see behind me or behind you,
Yeah.
those beautiful, a few little fluffy clouds, sort of the Simpson
Right.
clouds.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what's
Well,
the
I played pickleball this morning.
Okay.
There's a big group that play, and right in the middle it rained. 5-10 minutes it was gone, and we were back on the court.
Yeah.
So-
And what is pickleball?
Pickleball is kind of like tennis. It's a cross between tennis and table tennis.
Okay.
It's played with a hard paddle and a wiffle ball.
Okay.
And
Oh,
it's played
interesting.
on a small tennis court
Oh, I see.
with two people on each, with teams.
Two teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. And where are you playing that?
They have a facility here that's basically a tennis court and a soccer court, and we've got it every morning from and up until 11 or 11:30 in the morning that we have access to it.
Oh, excellent. And then the younger people wake up.
Well, no, our group has done all kinds of classes with the locals and with the local
Okay.
kids.
Hmm.
And we've supplied them with nets and paddles and balls and lessons, and they play in different places around town too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of fun. Are you involved in any other activities?
The group that I'm in is basically expats, and
Right.
they do the pickleball, and then on Thursday afternoon they play horseshoes, which
Uh-huh.
is totally foreign to most of the people down here. They look at you and go, "What are you doing?" And then on Friday night we have a trivia night.
Oh, that's fun. And
So,
where does the trivia night happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
so
then-
so where does it happen?
The horseshoes are on the beach.
Yeah.
And the trivia night kind of changes place to place, given what activities are going on in the different venues.
Right. And that's mostly, I guess, down in sort of the port side, or does it
Oh,
flip?
yeah, we do it on the port side, yes. The pickleball we do in the Colonia, but the horseshoes and the trivia we do down on port side.
Yeah. Well, I guess most of the bars and well, I'd say less so the restaurants, but most of the bars are down there.
Well, yeah, and we do it by sometimes they'll actually start at 5 o'clock and go to 7. So we do it before they have any business.
Huh. Well, that's a lot of fun, actually.
It is. It's
Yeah.
a good group.
So tell me, what's your favorite Mexican food?
Oh, wow. How about anything they serve?
I would say I would say the same thing. Although I
Yeah.
discovered, and I have to say my favorite were the gringas.
Okay. All
And I
right.
kept
Well,
making jokes
I've
about
got a great
gringas for
place
the
for
gringos.
empanadas. I've got a great place for tacos. I've got a
Yep,
great place for enchiladas.
probably
So
the
it
same
depends on
place.
what you want.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was fun. What the place that I was going into all the time to get my tacos, one day I'm looking at the menu and it's like, what's that? And so they made me some, and it was just unbelievable.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It was like an enchilada sort of, or actually it was. I'm just trying to think. It was a quesadilla plus,
Okay. Right.
basically.
Right.
And they made it special, and I'd add
Yeah.
avocado in it, and
Right.
fried
Right.
onions and
Yeah.
pineapple. I guess they knew I was Canadian. Sort of the pineapple pizza joke, right?
Oh yeah.
One of our great inventions.
Yes.
That and the snowplow. Uh, and what about your favorite drink? What beer do you like?
I don't drink beer,
Okay.
so it's either wine or um, as I've transitioned through all the bars, I
Yep.
found one really good place, and it was where we met you, that has fantastic margaritas.
Okay. Yeah, the margaritas are okay. I find that's just for my taste, it's a little bit too pricey,
Yeah.
but I guess it
Well,
matters.
yeah.
But
It depends
that's
on where you're
everywhere.
at.
It's
Yeah.
everywhere. Mixed drinks have just gotten out of hand
Yeah.
in terms of the
But
price.
my normal is a good glass of wine.
Yeah. Oh, that's good as well. And I'm guessing most of the wine, the better sort of inexpensive wine you're getting is probably all from like Chile and Argentina.
Yeah, Mexican, Chile. It depends. Some Argentina, maybe even some from Napa.
Oh, well, yeah, it's interesting. I didn't know that there was wine in Mexico. I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm guessing more sort of robust reds, that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Right. Yeah.
In which case they could be very good, actually.
Right. Right.
I know myself. Some of the reds I like the most are like from places like Sicily, which have
Yeah.
a very similar
Yeah.
climate
Right.
in a lot of ways.
My favorite wine in the States was from Italy.
Yeah. What type?
Now you're going to ask me what it is. It's a red wine. Fruits, berries, whatever.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
I can't
it
tell
was
you.
more. I know the ones that I really like. One of the types of grape. It's called Primitivo,
Okay.
and it really is. I think it's one of the older varieties that you can the Romans were probably drinking it. But anyway, so is there anything that I think I probably asked you outside of your family? Is there anything that you find that you can't really get there that you could when you were back in San Antonio?
I've been taking supplements for years and years,
Right.
and that's kind of hard
Mm-hmm.
because I could usually go to the grocery store in San Antonio and get what I wanted, or I could get it through Amazon.
Yeah.
Down here, it's more difficult.
Yeah. Well, that might be the thing to get your Amazon figured out.
Yeah, and I have a friend here right now from San Antonio, and he brought me a bunch of stuff down. So
you're good for another 6 months.
that's good. Yeah, keep the friends coming down, and they can be the supply chain.
Well, no, it's worth thinking about, right?
You asked me about what was negative here.
Yep.
I think the only negative thing is you can't find cotton sheets.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, what kind of sheets are there?
Everything's synthetic.
So they're all polyester and stuff
All
like that.
polyester. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, you know what to ask for from your next guest, right?
And next time I go home, I'll be a little picky and I'll get a good set of sheets.
Yeah, no, it makes all the difference. Is definitely so. So tell me a little bit about your current living situations. Did you rent a place? Did you buy a
Okay.
house?
I met a girl when I was down here in October, and we became
Right.
friends and kept up the communication.
Hmm.
And she offered to find me a place to live,
Right.
and so she had found me a place before I came down.
Hmm.
And basically, the day that I got here, I met with the landlord, the owner of the place, and we signed papers, and I moved in.
And
So
are you in for a year or?
I'm renting for 6 months, but I've already extended it for the rest of the year.
Yeah. And so what's it like?
4 bedrooms, good sized living room, nice kitchen,
Yeah.
a patio out back, the deck that we're on now. It's very nice. Nice little
Four
community.
bedrooms though.
Yeah. Yep.
Are you running an Airbnb out of it or?
Kind of. I have a friend that's living here, and then I
Right.
have my friend from San Antonio here,
Okay.
and I had another friend, and she just went back to Canada on Monday.
Okay. Well, that's quite good. I guess if you're sort of a communal type person that likes to have people around,
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Right.
And so tell me, what's it costing you a month?
It cost me 16,000 pesos,
Okay.
which is about $760.
Right. And does that include utilities and stuff, or is
No, I'm still paying utilities with that.
right? And what are they running you a month?
Most of the utilities are every other month, except for cable, and cable's like $20, 20 US.
Hmm.
And the other utilities usually run me $50, $60 for 2 months.
Yeah, so it's not too bad then.
Not too bad at all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And how does that compare to what your cost of living was when you were back in the States?
Just my internet alone was $90, and I didn't even have cable, and electric and water and everything. Another 75 to 80 bucks a month. And then if it got cold in San Antonio, it would go up to 150, 160.
Wow. And it does get cold down there every once in a while, doesn't it?
Well, it's been freezing the last couple of years, so yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that damn continental climate. It's the same thing here in
I don't think
Toronto.
we want to get into that discussion.
No, it's true. It's true. So I'm going to be the sort of prying type of person that I am. So tell me a little bit about your dating life. Are you a resolute single, or have you met anyone? You on the market?
I had met a gal online before I moved down here.
Right.
And we're still talking, and the plan is that she's going to come down in about 10 days and check it out.
Oh, nice.
She wants to start a business, and why not start it here?
Well,
So
exactly.
we'll check that out. But yeah, I have a couple of gals that I go out with. I don't know anything serious at this point in time, but
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, that doesn't have to be serious. And you find generally people are open to that kind of thing there, or is it?
Right.
So is it mostly expats or Mexicans?
Well, my landlord introduced me to a friend of hers.
Right.
That is from here. That's a Mexican
Mhm.
citizen, and we have a great time. We do a lot of stuff together.
Nice. No, it sounds absolutely perfect then.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I have to. You have any questions for me?
Well, when you coming back?
Well, I mean it's a good question. I'm really hoping to be back down there in the fall is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Mostly because I have been in the Caribbean in like July and August before. Well, it was in August. It's where my honeymoon was years and years ago, and the weather was it was a little too hot.
Yeah.
Especially during the day. Basically anything after 10 in the morning.
One of the things that we had talked about when you were here was vegetables.
Yeah.
And this area doesn't have a lot of farming and vegetables. A lot of fruit, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But I've met a guy from Colorado who has bought out on the Cenote Road,
Right.
and he's looking at doing an organic garden.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, was it
He
something similar?
he actually has good dirt. So I'm
Interesting.
curious to see where that goes and visit him.
Yeah, no, the biggest thing I would say is you're almost worried because I looked into it a little bit after we discussed it,
Right.
and the biggest one of the biggest downsides was just it gets so hot that there's problems keeping the plants cool enough.
Right.
And a lot of them just aren't heat tolerant for the type of daytime temperatures.
Right.
So you're almost looking at figuring out ways of shading them.
Yeah, and that would be nice.
And
That would be a nice thing about the jungle.
and that, well, that's the thing, or doing these sort of crazy what do they call them, the vertical gardens, and the gardens where they're doing a lot of planting under trees,
or even the hydroponic.
in levels or hydroponics, which is something I definitely want to look into. And it's crazy how inexpensive it is.
Yeah.
Because I was looking, you can do a setup with, I think, 90 pots or something like that for about $500 US. You know, sort of a plug and play system that comes in a box. You set it up, you plug it in, and it's all drip watering. You know, where you can set the nutrients. And the nice thing about it too is that it's very difficult for any pests to get in.
Right.
Just the way the things are set up, which would be another big issue there.
And I think the market,
like aphids. But yeah, so we'll have to look into that. I mean, the other interesting thing that I know you said you were interested in hemp.
Right.
And it's funny, we'll have to talk when I'm down next, because I introduced it. Do you know what hempcrete is?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Hempcrete?
No.
Concrete.
Okay.
Well, there's this product that's called hempcrete, obviously, and they use it as a building material.
Oh, sure. Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and they basically take it from the stems, and the stems are, from what I can understand, shred in a particular way so that the actual fibers are long enough.
Right.
And then people are doing everything from making bricks out of it to having it with like plastic molds. And then you put the mixture in and you tap it down and you can build with it.
Yes.
And it would seem to me to be the absolute ideal building material for the tropics.
Yes.
Because the properties of it, it's highly, it's got really good insulation, which is perfect for the cool, hot as well as the cold, right?
Absolutely.
And is completely mold resistant, which has to be one of the bigger issues there, just from the level of humidity around. And also is breathable, so the walls actually breathe.
Right.
And it's lighter than concrete. And, it's one of these things, at least with some of the systems, it's mostly like manual labor to get it done. So you need a lot of manpower, and it's low tech.
Right.
Which is, again, perfect for...
Well, you have a lot of manpower.
They've got all kinds of manpower, and, the thing is, it'd be the perfect thing to get them working on, right?
Yeah.
Because, of course, you save on all kinds of stuff. And I can imagine if you built one of these places properly, especially with the breezes and things, you might even get away with a beautiful place that doesn't even need air.
I can imagine, yeah.
Like they used to do. I know years ago I was in Jamaica when I went on my honeymoon, and the place we were in Negril, and the place that once they heard it was our honeymoon, they gave us not the room we'd booked, but this really nice, basically apartment on the beach, because it was like a beach house. And that thing was absolutely unbelievable, because all of the walls were like Venetian blinds.
Oh, wow.
So at night, and it was all screened in. So basically at night you could open up all of the walls and just get the ocean breeze.
Oh, yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, 10 times better than any air conditioning.
Yeah.
You know,
So
and during the day you just closed it all up and it stayed relatively cool.
Yeah. So
You know,
it's been winter here, but my sliding glass door has only been shut like 2 nights.
Yeah, and for what it went down to below 70 degrees?
65 maybe.
65, yeah. Yeah, it's a whole other world. You know, I cannot wait to get back. The thing that I really noticed, like when I came back to Canada, to Toronto that week, I think it snowed every single day.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
And between that and just the lack of light compared to the amount of light that you just naturally get down, sunlight is just, for me, it's unbelievable the amount of extra it invigorates,
right?
You know, and as we get older, I mean, there's nothing you want more than being invigorated, right?
Well, I'll add one more experience that I've had here, and that's I've met people that I was supposed to meet,
right?
And you never know until you meet them. And I had met a girl on the street here the other day, and then I met her at the pool yesterday, and we sat down and talked, and immediately it was apparent that we were supposed to have that conversation. So it's the connections that are here, and people are open and they're willing and they're interesting, but you'll find people that are supposed to be in your life that you didn't know.
Yeah.
So those connections are incredible.
Yeah, and it's a bit how we met, right?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, just waiting in line to get seated at that restaurant that you really like for the margaritas, you know. But sorry.
And my friend Nina, I met her on the beach about 6 days before I left, and we've become best friends.
Yeah. No, she's a great lady. She was the other person who was there when we met the first time, and I'm gonna have to get her on and do a thing with her at some point as well.
Oh yeah.
Once things are up and running.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's the funniest thing that happened to you in Mexico so
Funniest
far?
thing? Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
It doesn't have to be jokey funny, but it can just be
the funniest thing that maybe the strangest thing, not the funniest.
Okay, well, strange is fine too.
One of our trips was to El Cuyo, which is on the northern coast.
Mm-hmm.
And we were at a restaurant, and a girl came in the door, and she walked by our table and stopped and looked at us and went, "I know you." And we realized that we had met her here in Puerto Morelos 3 weeks earlier.
Wow.
So she sits down, and we invite her to have dinner with us. And another girl walks in, and we make eye contact, and she's kind of sitting close to us. And in the conversation, I had made a comment to Nina, and she got up and came to our table and said, "What he said is right." And she sat down at the table.
Yeah.
10 minutes later, we found out that all 3 of these girls had lived in the same apartment in Playa del Carmen above a tattoo parlor within the last year.
Wow.
I mean, how does that happen?
Yeah,
all 3 of them lived in the same apartment in the last year.
Yeah, well, that's like those crazy algorithms that'll suggest things to you, right?
And it happens all the
based
time.
on No, that's really fun. And so I know you'd said when we were discussing back and forth to set this up that you like to go out and do all kinds of excursions.
Yes.
And that's something that I found was just fantastic in that part of Mexico.
Yeah.
So tell me about a few of your favorite excursions.
Well, El Cuyo is on the northern coast, between Mérida and Cancun.
Okay.
And it's probably the kite surfing capital of Mexico.
Okay.
They have great winds and great water, and they have probably 5 or 6 different schools. And people
Wow.
come from all over the world to go to those schools to perfect their kite surfing. Beautiful beach, nice sand dunes, nice little town. Yeah, that was good. Um, I've spent time in Playa del Carmen, which, like you
Yep.
said, it's pretty busy, but it does have nice beaches.
Yep.
And been to Tulum twice,
How'd you
and
find that?
still nice beaches. They've got the ruins there at Tulum that are pretty cool, and they've got a nice beach.
Yeah.
Um, it's getting pretty commercialized in the town, but you don't have to be in the town. You can be on the beach.
Yeah, I never visited the town itself at Tulum. It's sort of a similar situation as with Puerto Morelos, isn't it? Where the beach is
I,
down in
you know
one
what?
part,
It's
or is it less
Puerto
so?
Morelos is basically a B&B community.
Right.
Okay, people are here for 5 to 7 days on a normal trip, some longer. So a lot of people in and out, in and out. Both Playa and Tulum are more resort communities.
Yeah.
So you've got a little more money. You've got a kind of a younger crowd that's
Hmm.
there that likes to party. So
Yep.
there's a lot of activities and a lot of things going on all the time. They
Right.
actually have streets closed in Playa del Carmen because there's so much walking traffic that they can't
Yeah.
put cars on it.
Yeah. Fifth
So,
Avenue.
and it's pretty popular with the age group of maybe 25 to 40.
Yep.
Whereas here, it's more of an older crowd.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, it's a completely different experience. I know that I was in Playa twice, and there's definitely a lot more nightlife there.
Right. Yeah.
And but
To go to
it's
it,
also,
I don't live there.
yeah, well, it's I mean, I'm a bit torn because there's certain parts, especially when you're single,
Yeah.
that are would be, I think would be a lot easier in a place like Playa del Carmen than
Right.
Puerto Morelos,
Yes.
because it's so small, right? You know, but in terms of overall lifestyle, it's just much nicer. I mean, Playa's got nice parts, but you really almost have to have enough money to be in like Playa Car or something like that.
That's
A lot
true.
of the
Yeah.
rest of the town is
And they're
very,
both more expensive. Yes.
and definitely, and with Tulum, it's gotten a little bit out of hand,
Right.
but it's become like a real jet set
Yeah.
type of
But
place.
there are some very nice Mexican towns that are very traditional Mexican.
Hmm.
The architecture, the buildings, the cathedral, all of that
Yeah,
are within 2 hours.
yeah, and are a lot of those more inland from the
Yes.
coast?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what when I go down next, I'm really hoping to do more traveling around. I'd also like. Have you been to Balacar?
Not yet. No.
Yeah, see that's one I'd really like to go and check out. And what's the
Right.
other port town? There's another port town that's past Tulum. It's the one that gets all the
Oh
cruise ships.
wow.
Is that
Well,
Porto? I
Belize.
want to say Escondido, but that
Oh.
one's out on the other
Oh. Okay.
coast.
Okay.
I'm
I'm
just
not
trying to
sure.
think of the name.
And then
Yeah,
Belize
there's
isn't that
one.
way.
Yeah, yeah. And do you go to Cancun at all?
I only to the airport.
Only to the airport.
Actually, on Friday we're going to Isla Mujeres,
Okay,
so we'll have to go into Cancun.
right. No, interesting. And also, if you're going to do any sort of bigger shopping, you're going to Cancun or Playa del Carmen
Well, yeah.
one way or
And
another.
actually, Playa is closer, and
Yeah.
I usually go
And there's
there.
a Walmart,
Yes, but there's a
which is very
Sears,
valuable.
and
Yeah,
there's a mall down there, so you can get pretty much anything you want.
yeah, yeah. Which makes a difference.
Yes.
Especially if you're living down
Oh
somewhere.
yeah.
I mean, you can
Yeah.
tend to, I had no problem finding anything in Puerto Morelos, but in terms of bigger purchases, you're
Right.
not going to find a lot there.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah. So I'm trying to think with me. I'm definitely hoping to get down in the fall. I've already started working on it. I'm actually working with a friend of mine who's in Playa del Carmen, doing I'm doing little promotional videos for him.
Oh, cool.
He's a real estate agent.
Okay.
So it's a big business down there. I mean, it's really booming. And from what I can understand, what he's been saying is, I think he said Playa del Carmen was one of the fastest growing cities in the world last
Oh,
year.
I don't doubt that. Yeah.
And I know from, I mean, I'd been down there before my last trip in March. I'd been down there, I guess, 3 or 4 years ago, and it felt like it was much bigger than it had been. I mean, I think it's almost a perfect size now. I don't, I can only imagine what it was like if it was 1 million people compared to the 150,000 it is. I mean, it'd be impossible, and hopefully it'll never get to that size. But anyway, yeah, no, I like I said, I'm really hoping that I can get down there soon and that we can spend a little time and have a couple of margaritas and some tacos. Anyway, thank you so much.
Hey, you're very welcome.
We'll stay in touch.
Okay.
And is Nina still there, or is she already headed
home? She went
back
to Canada on Monday.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to reach out to her.
Right.
And once she's had a couple of days to recover a little bit and help pull her out of her depression.
I know. And only had an hour to change planes. She said her bag was Montreal. They were late, and her bag was the last bag off, and she missed the flight. So they had to put her up in Montreal overnight.
Oh well, what can you do? Poor her. No, it's. I mean, I really feel for her, but I'm in the same position.
Yeah.
And anyway, Larry, thank you so much for this. Let's let's do it again.
Okay.
And I'll ping you. I'll ping you, and we'll chat more offline.
Sounds great.
Anyway, you take care, and thank you so much.
You betcha. Have a good one.
Bye-bye. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.